This is a Hot Pie Media original.
We've got to find the porn in the libraries thing is, I guess it's working well for Republicans in a pathetic way in this state, maybe other states as well. It is the template. It is the one thing strategically that is allowing Republicans to leave Donald Trump behind. It is the path forward without Donald Trump, and that is the parental freakout. Somebody somewhere is getting a bonus this year because they found the parental freakout that is necessary for white people to freak out enough to take back the suburbs. That's kind of the strategy here. And whoever came up with it, because I don't believe are sincere at all, but whoever came up with, let's freak them out and say there's porn in the libraries, you get a bonus. The party is giving you a bonus. You have found a way in the brainstorming sessions to pivot away from Trump, and you did it. You pulled it off because the freak out is on. The freak out is working. The freak out is out of control. And it begs to ask the obvious question. Surely I'm not the only person that has the obvious question. I'm watching a clip. Really well done clip. It is so sad and pathetic. And I say that as a taxpayer. I say that as a person with a lot of kids. I say that as a person who cares about what their kids, what books they get. Every parent has every obligation to care. Every parent has every obligation to pay attention. We try. We all try. We're not always going to agree on the books. That's fair enough too. The fact that this has now led to, this is a bunch of vigilantes. Sorry to offend you. I don't believe that many of you are concerned parents. I believe that you're kind of vigilantes set out to do this for political reasons. Because if you're that worked up about porn in the libraries, which is now a law doubled down by the governor of the state of Texas, who has essentially called out everyone to go looking for the porn in the libraries. If you are sincere about this, where the hell have you been this entire time? It's all I can think of. I don't believe anyone's sincere, but if there is someone that is really sincere, that wakes up and says, I'm so upset about the porn in my kid's library. The books have been there for a while. The guy who wrote the law in the state of Texas, I've pointed out numerous times, one of the libraries, one of the school districts called into question, those books are there that made the lists. He came up with a list of, I believe it's 800 books. And then you're supposed to get freaked out, and you are. And you go running around saying, let's get the librarians, let's get them. His own district had something like 40 books on that list called into question. I'm asking, where were you this whole time? If you're that concerned about your school, why the heck didn't you go get the porn out before? Why has it been there all the way until now? Just ask yourself, why this? Why now? Even if you want to believe the people involved, why this? Why now? Because this is such a disturbing clip. And that is a school librarian here in the state of Texas does an interview with CNN. It's as if she's turning on the drug cartels. She is blacked out. As in, I can't show my face. As in, I'm afraid. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. It's pathetic that she's that concerned that the vigilantes, the psycho lunatic vigilantes, you're not a concerned parent. You're a lunatic. Sorry. I'm sorry. A concerned parent wouldn't be screaming and yelling. A concerned parent would be looking to the backpack. A concerned parent would be sitting down in front of the principal. A school concerned parent would be talking to the librarian. That's what a concerned parent would do. And they would have done it a long time ago if they really had that many issues about the books. This would not have to be a giant show of vigilantes. It wouldn't need to be that way. I know. I'm a parent. Just go check it out. Look at the book. Bring it up. You don't need to show up and make a show out of your rage. So much so that this person looks and sounds like she's ratting out a dangerous drug cartel.
This is a school librarian in Texas. Why are you afraid to show your face?
Because there was a day not too long ago when I had to stop and think, when they come in with handcuffs and they come in with their warrant for my arrest for alleging that I've provided obscene material to minors, who am I going to call first?
Across Texas, protesters at school board meetings are accusing educators of forcing pornography or obscene content on children.
This is not a political thing. This is not a witch hunt. This is genuine concern for children. It's abuse. It is grooming behavior. It's predatory.
The anger is largely aimed at school libraries, and many Texas politicians are on board. In October, Republican state legislator Matt Krause requested every school district in the state scour their libraries for a list of 850 books.
The infamous Texas list, the pattern seems to be books that are representative of LGBTQIA subjects and characters and topics. Books that may contain depictions or narratives of sexual violence, survivor stories. Some books that are about racism.
The list includes New Kid, a graphic novel about a black student's struggles fitting in at a majority white school. The letter Q, queer writers' notes to their younger selves. And The Cider House Rules, a coming-of-age story that features a character who performs abortions. Republican Governor Greg Abbott took things a step further, ordering officials to investigate any criminal activity in public schools after complaints about 2 LGBTQ-themed books he said were pornographic.
I have never experienced anything like that before, where a government agency or any kind of government entity was interested in specifically what kinds of books were in the library.
The Texas Library Association is traditionally a pretty sleepy advocacy group, but the heated rhetoric is forcing that to change. Last week, the group set up an anonymous hotline for librarians afraid of job consequences.
School librarians don't go into this business to harm kids. They are working really, really hard to select books that represent everyone on their campus.
This is happening all over the country. LGBTQ and racial-themed books written for children and young adults are facing powerful resistance. Educators are being put on notice.
This is pornography, plain and simple, and it does not belong in our schools.
Just since the start of the school year, the American Library Association has tracked more than 230 book challenges nationwide. The ALA says there's been a dramatic uptick in challenges to books featuring LGBTQ and racial themes.
LGBTQIA plus students like me who are being harassed for not conforming to antiquated notions of gender roles and how they should express themselves.
Here we go. Yay.
There you go.
There it is.
Librarians are starting to fight back in a very librarian way.
And this week we're sharing books that were gifts in people's lives. And so I'm going to kick this off by sending my first tweet from our Freedom Friday account.
Carolyn Foote is a retired librarian and one of the founders of the group Freedom Fighters. In just a month, it's become the grassroots way librarians under threat find and help each other.
It's amazing how widespread these book challenges are. People are contacting us like privately.
Think about the language being used here. Some people, I would get it. Again, I've got skin in the game. I have kids in school. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce in all 50 states, now in several retail outlets as well. So we're going to turn it over to the social media rock chef superstar, and we're going to walk through a few sauces and why you should buy. We've done Beat Heat, so we're second in line now for the tasting. Don't forget, everyone, go to atxhotsauce.com. So here we go.
All right, so this one is our smoked habanero 5-pepper. We smoke habaneros with ancho, pasilla.
Is that going to hurt?
This one? No,
Yeah.
This one's actually really, really good.
Okay.
This is like your traditional tapatilla, but without the vinegar in it, right? And because of that fermentation process that we've talked about all the time. This one is great on sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Great on hot wings. I think you're going to really like this one too, especially the smoky flavor with the adobe chipotle and the smoked habaneros. We actually smoked the habaneros before we.
Does that go with the cab?
This would not go with cab. This would go with the great Chenin Blanc, though.
I teed you up with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
That is good.
That's good. Isn't that good? It's just classic take. Well, it's a new take on a classic item. So it's called smoked habanero 5-pepper.
All right, don't forget
One of my favorites.
Don't forget atxhotsauce.com. I find schools unbelievably accessible. As well they should be. They work for the taxpayer. These are, you have to stop yourself and say, well, but so what? If we get any porn out, Jeff, that's got to be a good thing. Yeah. You're being played, doofus. You're being played. I'm sorry. You've got every right, every opportunity, and have had for a long, long time to complain. Notice how that head of that library, this lady sitting in the library, said, of all the years I've been doing this, no one's ever said a word. Notice why this, why now. It's why this, why now, because you are being played, mom and dad, suburban white mom and dad. You're being played. You're part of a bigger political pivot that says, let's come up with a white person freak out today, and it's working on you. There's no sincerity. There is no sincerity whatsoever, mom and dad, with anybody in politics. They are slimy scum. The good person in all this is the librarian. The bad person in all this is the maggot sellout politician that is playing you. You're being played, and you're dumb enough to go for it. If you have a problem with your kid's book, you should have had a problem before you were told by some maggot politician that never sets foot in a school. They have no idea what's going on, and they don't care because you're dumb enough to be played. Sorry. This is pathetic. These people are hiding from lunatics like the guy at the school board meeting. He doesn't have any kids in that school. I will guarantee you he doesn't. He's some ranting old man who heard the call to action by some Pied Piper in the state of Texas who is a sellout politician. You know how we know the guy's a sellout? Because the very guy who wrote the law didn't even bother to check out his own schools. Don't fall for this, but you have. And you're crazy. We are a class of crazy people who've turned into vigilantes. So I guess we're going to get our wish. I guess, the politicians don't care. All that matters is you get reelected. That's all they care about, mom and dad. But, so if we just let this thing play itself out, and enough people, to their credit, they're pushing back. You have every right to be pissed about what goes on in your school. You have every right to be concerned or love what goes on in your school. Then go take care of it. You need it. Here's how pathetic this story should be sold. Moms and dads who have kids in school, you needed to be prompted by some sellout scumbag at the Capitol? That's what told you to become a parent? All of a sudden you needed him? This is the way Democrats suck at politics. This is the way you suck at communicating. If you really wanted to make this and turn this around, you would say, so you're that terrible of a parent? You needed that guy to tell you? Own it, mom and dad, own it. You need that guy looking over your shoulder? That's what Democrats would do if they had any communication skills or guts whatsoever. At least these librarians who probably like their job. My experience is they really, really like their job. And my experience is they really try hard. Nothing's perfect. And I have every right to complain. Every right. You didn't start complaining until you were told to. That's what this story is. It's what it is. And I think people who are showing up now, all of a sudden now, you ought to be embarrassed. You're only showing up because those scum, directionless, spineless scum who are in politics told you to. The end result of this, I don't know what we're going to do. We look up 2 or 3 years from now. Now, they're not going to care because they got reelected. They got reelected because you get reelected on vigilantes. That's how you get reelected. You don't get reelected on ideas. You don't, because if they had a really good idea, they would say, oh, mom and dad, I hear you're concerned about books. Go check it out. I can't help you there. That's what a decent thinking person in politics would say. By all means, go talk to your school. Go talk to your librarian. Go talk to your kid's teacher. Most people can't even identify their kid's teacher. That's what a decent politician would do. Instead, like Greg Abbott does, they're vigilantes. They're trying to pivot away from Trump, and they've come up with the pitchfork issue of the day. White people turn on them. That's all this is. This is about suburban moms, and it's working. So if this thing plays itself out, and enough teachers and librarians are having to hide their face to do an interview, that woman had to hide her face. Okay? I mean, the audacity of accusing someone of selling, of pushing porn on your kid is, you are a nut job. Got it? You're a nut job who doesn't apparently parent. But to think that she is now having to hide herself, and it'll continue to happen. It will, because they got a winning story. They're playing you, and it's working. At the Capitol, they've got the winning platform. And it's not about taxes and stuff like that. No, hell no. They got a good plan, and it's going to work. And the Democrats will sit there and let them run right over them, and it'll work perfectly fine. But along the way, what are we going to do, taxpayers? What are we going to do, concerned parents? Not nut jobs. Concerned parents who want to be parents, who legitimately care about their schools and care about their kids and care about what their kids are taught. What are we going to do when they start quitting? Are we going to look up and go, way to go, we did it, we fixed them, we cleaned this place out? Because that's the natural progression. It seems to me that's the natural progression. And I don't know anybody who couldn't blame somebody who said, you know what? I really like this job. I went to school to do this job. I don't know what else I'm going to do. But you nutcases, dangerous nutcases, have driven me out of the field. What are we going to do? We're going to be proud in that moment. We're going to be proud that Greg Abbott and the gang got him. Got them. They got him out of there. Their only gotcha is getting reelected. You fools fall for it. Fools. This time the fools are mom and dad. And we deserve it. We deserve to be called fools. What are we going to do? How are we going to view this time when they start quitting? Is that going to be a success for the average parent working hard, trying to make a go of it, average kid trying to make a go of it? How are we going to view this when they start quitting and we look up 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now at this time period?
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.